So the look, the feel, it's really building on some of the updates we've had in the past and improving them.
Well, I'll just say this. This is an incredibly exciting moment for Apple. I think consumers should be pumped. What Apple is doing here is they've seen everything that OpenAI and Google and Anthropic have done. They believe that AI has a place at the center of its products, and they're finally going to implement that. So this is a really big deal for consumers. People have been clamoring for a version of Siri that works properly for the better part of 15 years. And my strong belief is we are finally going to get that this fall. So I see this as a major development and accomplishment for Apple in its quest to try to bring AI to the masses, taking a slightly different tack than their rivals in the space.
Mark, there's two parts to this, as you report it. There's the standalone Siri app. Let's say it's akin to a ChatGPT app. And then there's how you interact with Siri on the screen of your phone. You know, however you open up the phone. We're going to go through some of the images that you included in the story, but could you just explain those two parts that we're detailing? And as we cycle through the images, we're showing them on the screen right now. Again, these are Bloomberg-generated images based on our reporting, both discussions with sources and documentation that we viewed. But those two new features, please.
So to launch Siri today, you say obviously the Siri wake word or Hey Siri if you have an older device, or you can hold down the power button. That continues, and there's a new animation that pops out of the dynamic island. Obviously, they added that with the 14 Pro back in 2022. So this is with modern iPhone hardware in mind. The second thing you can do is swipe down from the top center of the iPhone. So how you open notifications today will be how you open a new Siri interface called Search or Ask. And that essentially takes you into a type to Siri interface, basically a system-wide AI agent. You can tell it to get things done on your behalf. You can do searches on your device as well as the open web. So there's a Perplexity competitor from Apple, built by Apple, developed by Apple, designed by Apple in there as well. And then there's the Siri app. You know, chatbots have taken the world by storm. ChatGPT has nearly 1 billion users. People are using Gemini, people are using Claude. This is clearly something that people want. So this is a product, an app in line with what you're getting from Google Gemini. Obviously, as we reported last year, the underlying models for a lot of these new technologies in Siri are powered by Gemini and running on Google's cloud infrastructure.
How worried should like a ChatGPT, should OpenAI be right now? You reported that maybe they're even considering legal action. Is this going to be a real standalone competitor?
Well, we've seen this time and time again where Apple releases a standalone app of its own that's built into the operating system. I think ChatGPT has the strongest brand. Siri doesn't have a very strong brand. I still think they should, rebrand the whole effort. That's neither here nor there, at least for now. But definitely having a chatbot built into iOS, macOS, iPadOS, north of 2 billion devices, that is threatening, I would say, to Gemini, to ChatGPT, and to Claude, especially if over time Apple's able to make it really competitive to what you're seeing to ChatGPT. So we'll have to see how this plays out over time. But at least, in the short term, a lot of people are going to be introduced to the concept of a chatbot or a conversational AI interface who haven't used it before, despite the popularity of ChatGPT.